Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? Let me see. I might need to make some adjustments here. Always dropping this. Move that where it won't fall. Alright, let's get myself set up. See if anyone's around. Hopefully, I've got some people joining me today. Let's see. Excuse me. All right. All right, quiet at the moment, but that's okay. Let's see how these views look right now. I'm trying to see whether or not I'm going to be in the way of this. I think I'll be all right. Let me fix this one up top though, so I can get that where it needs to be. And maybe let's share a little bit before we keep going. I'm gonna smooth this up. I'm going to show you what I've done so far in the last couple days. So here's where we are. There's my photograph here on top and the painting underneath. And so what I've been working on is the rails. And let's zoom in just a little bit so you can hopefully see some of that. Right, there we go. So done a decent amount of work. This back rail here, it's not finished, but it's good enough to move on. I've got it to a certain level, and I've started this one here where it's starting to get a little bit more detail to it. And there's a little bit more detail on this side. This one here, I've got some little some nuts and bolts in there, and hopefully you can see that okay. So I'll get myself back out, get myself set up. I know there was a suggestion from someone last week to have something a little bit closer. So I'm going to see if I can put this in a way that you can see everything you want to see. I guess that's close enough. That looks all right to me. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to be a little daring today, and I'm not going to put my smock on. I'm only working with a couple of colors. So yeah, that looks all right. Just looking at the screen there. Get my palette set up. I don't need a lot going on. Really, I'm just going to be doing, and so just as I did with this one up here, and hopefully you can see the tip of my brush here. Just as I did with this one. So it's got this top part of the rail here, and that top part, it's kind of like, imagine my hand here, and then it's got a part going underneath there. So it's got this lip that comes down and around, creating a shadow. So I've got the top part painted here, and now I need to paint the shadow underneath. So that's where I'm going to start. And then what else do I need to do? And then it gets, if we look at the picture just above it, so we've got this shadow right here, and then it gets light, and then dark, and then the second color here, and then this line right here is actually another rail. So I've got that started down here too. So we'll get those colors a little bit more spot on, and we'll just keep going. So thanks for joining. If you're just popping on, it's nice to have people come and say hi. I think I'm going to need some some new paint here. Got room. Yeah, I need some new paint. So let me get some. I've been sticking with for these shadows here. Oh, I can't get the paint tube out of there. There we go. So I've been sticking with the raw umber. So that's what I've got right here. Raw umber, maybe a little bit of red. If I'm doing a lighter area, maybe a little bit of black. But so I'll just get a little bit of that on there. And let's see is my black still okay? Yeah, I think it is. So let me just expose a little bit. So you'll get the skin on your paint if it's been sitting out. And this has been sitting out. I didn't cover it like I normally do. There's just not a lot of paint here to worry too much about. But if you peel back that skin, you'll have good paint underneath. No big deal, right? So let's mix a little bit of that black into that brown. So I'm just going to take a little, let me get a little oil on that brush first. I always work with the oil. I'm working with a 00 Winsor Newton Series 7. This is detail areas. I'm painting these tiny little lines. So it is important to be nice and consistent with it. All right, that's really all I need. I gotta change my glasses though. And this was a pain. Hello, how are you doing today? I'm so glad to see you. I hope you've had a good week. And we're back again. Painting, lots of detail. So as I just said a minute ago, this first rail here is done. Let me get you a different view. This first rail here is, I'll say, semi-done. I've got some detailed little spots in here and some detail over here. Now I'm just working on these other rails, and there's a little bit of detail on this one here with the orange and some bolts there. And then there's a really thin one that has a little bit of detail right in there. And then this one in the front has the most detail, where it's got some bolts here, and then every so often you'll see a bolt. So I'm going to have to make sure that I spread those out nice and evenly. Maybe I'll even get a ruler to measure those out and make sure that they're done right. But we'll see. Oh, full of exams. Yeah, I remember those times, and my son actually just finished his exams, so I get your mood. Good luck. Hope you do well. It is a tough thing to do for sure. I get it. All right, so let's get to work here. Let me put on my trusty glasses here. Let's try to make sure I don't get my head in the way too much. So that's what's going to be the problem, because I tend to work really, really close to this painting. How am I going to do this? I might actually move that camera over a little bit. Let's give that a shot. Before I know it's like at an angle and all that, but someone said last week, they would have liked to have been able to see a little bit better. So let's see if I can move this closer and have it not be so, I can't see what I'm doing because I took off my glasses. Alright, so let's make you dizzy. Here we go. This is the angle I'm talking about. If I go far enough over, the other thing is, maybe I'll go from the other side. I can do that too. I tend to be like wanting to go on that. So maybe I'll come in from this direction with this camera. Sorry, people. Move this over here. And let's see how that works. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, if I come in from this direction, you might actually have a better angle. And yeah, so let's do that, and then let's back it up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. And I'm going to angle it down just a hair. Because I'm working on those rails, and that's what you're going to want to see. Alright. That looks better. Yeah. Alright. Now we're making gravy without the lumps. See? So now, because for some reason I've noticed when I'm painting this, I like to, just a little bit, there we go. I like to be on this side of it, so I tend to be doing that. Alright, let's put my other glasses back on, and then let's get moving. Wasting time. Wasting time. Alright. Switch back. Now, so this is up. Let's put this thing down here. Make sure that's nice and tight. Here we go. Alright, so if I'm looking at this here, I'm seeing, right, so we're looking at the shadow right underneath here, right? And we've got this piece here too, so I want to be conscious of that. I might even start blocking that in a little bit so that I know where it is, and it's right underneath this second rail here. So let's draw a little, paint a little line. It's really right in the middle there, because it goes right underneath here. Just a straight up and down line, and then it curves with this piece here. And then I see this is like the edge of, there's like this piece in there, and so I'm painting the side of it right now. It's really dark brown. It's been really cold here over the past week. It's really cold today. Today is, right now, it's 13 degrees Fahrenheit, well below zero. Well, well below zero in Celsius terms. All right, and I'm just going to, hopefully my maul stick isn't too much in the way. I'm just going to paint a tiny little line. I'm almost tempted to keep my hand here, but I like the vertical. I like the vertical better. Tiny little line. I'll improve this line later. Stages, work in stages, right? Get something down. Don't worry too much about it. And when you have time, come back to it. Alright. So there's that. So let's look at the thickness of that. And let me get over to the side a little bit better. See, this is why I wanted this to come from this side, because otherwise I'd be right in the middle there. And I don't want that to happen. Alright, I'll move this over there like that. I kind of like it sideways like that. Get some more paint on my brush. I'm just working with this dark, really dark black and brown mix here. So it's almost black, but not quite. Alright, so we're working on a shadow. The shadow's pretty thick. and trying to figure out how to move my hand. It's such a weird spot being so low to the bottom of the top of the easel or whatever, the easel piece. Nice and slow. Hold your breath if you need to. I don't care about, this is going to be darker. I only care about the top edge of that. That's the part that I want to have nice and straight. This brush is so small, it doesn't hold a lot of paint. So I got to go back a lot. That's okay. Goes back as many times as I need to. Something I like to do when I'm painting, detail like this is, instead of watching the surface, I tend to watch the brush a little bit more. Watch the brush as it hits the surface. There we go. Trying to be as consistent as possible. I think I need to add a little more linseed oil to that paint. So and I twirl it to get a nice tip on it. If the paint is too thick, I'll have problems with it flowing onto the canvas, or the board in this case. I wonder if that light will be a bother to you. Let me see if I can, excuse me, let's see what happens if I turn this light on. All right, good. That'll help me see a little bit better. Good, good. It is amazing how much light can help you see better. Oh, that's okay. I can fix that after. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen all the time. How you fix your mistakes, that's the bigger question. I feel like I'm a little blurry. That's all right. So before you paint, this is possibly a good practice, you know, can you make your line the direction that you want to make it, you know? So make sure that your hand is in a good position to draw that straight line, paint that straight line. My professors always said drawing and painting are the same thing. I agree and disagree, because you're putting marks on a surface, right? It's really all you're doing with both, and that in and of itself, that makes them the same, creating marks. But what you can do with the marks is very different. The blending techniques, the layering. Some things you can do with paints, some things you can do with pencils, but you can't do the same with both. My heart is pounding right now because I've been racing to get here, moving cameras around and stuff like that. And now I am a little out of breath when I need to kind of hold my breath. Hopefully this is in focus. My head's not getting in the way here. We had a bunch of snow last weekend after the last time I was online. Snowed about 1.5 feet all day Sunday. And this rail up here, it's kind of bent. I don't know how that happens, but it's a broken rail somehow. All right, now I can paint underneath that line a little bit. I'll have to go back and fix some errors that I made, but sorry, my head got in the way. I see that now. Again, it's unavoidable to some degree. I apologize. So we're just going to paint underneath this. This is all going to get blended out a little bit, or a lot, we'll see. But I need more paint. And hopefully that's starting to look like a shadow underneath the rail. As I go, if I see any wobbles that I can fix, I'll fix them. There's a wobble right there, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that wobble. Sometimes when you're painting lines, you'll find your brush get hung up on a blob of paint. I just had that happen, so it was hard to get it to go where I wanted it to go. got my photographs in, but I don't know how much I like them. I didn't realize they got cut off. I think I rushed it. I think I rushed the developing process and just accepted the default settings and all that. I ended up cutting it off. So I may have to order them a second time, which is unfortunate. All right, now I got to make some decisions here. Make this little piece a little bit better here. Fine. All right, now what I want to do is I need another color here. So now I've got the center part of this rail here that's lighter. You see that color there. I'm not happy with that color though. That's not the same color. It's not even remotely the same color. So I'm going to mix another color here, kind of close to what I had before. Right over here, I think that's just some white and some a little bit of red. Let's not get my sweater all messed up today, if I can help it. Uh-oh, I got a break open. I got a little skin on it on the cadmium red here. Cadmium red takes forever to dry, which is great, but I finally got it to dry. I guess I did, yep. Alright, that might be too much, but we'll see. Yeah, that's too much. White. Trying to find the tone that I'm looking for. I guess I'm close. Let me see what this looks like. So if I put that up to the... that doesn't look too bad, actually. Let's see what it looks like on the board here. It's almost the same color. I feel like it needs to be darker though. Darker. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. I'm okay with that color. Question is, this brush or another brush? I'm gonna go with this one. Now we're just painting underneath that line. I've got enough paint here. You know what, before I keep going, I'm going to make sure I got enough paint here. Let me take that and mix it up. A little bit of white on there. I might have to get a new palette. This palette is, I made a mistake and put a bunch of linseed oil all over it. Now I got linseed oil all over it. It's not really coming off the way I want it to. I think that's what I want. Oil. Let's see if I came close. Yep, that's good. A little more oil though. Now I got enough paint. This doesn't need to be perfect because I'm going to be blending it together. Lost my audience. That's all right. I got some rocks here that I kind of have to go around. This is kind of why I want to work background to foreground. Because if I paint over a rock, guess what? I got to repaint it. I see too many people with bad technique. Just, I don't know who taught you to paint like that. Where you paint the foreground first. All right, good so far. Let me blend that in a little bit. I'm just going to get rid of some of this paint on my brush, and let's pull up my sleeve a little bit. There we go. I'm going to do it just like this. Just go back and forth. Every once in a while I wipe my brush off because I'm accumulating paint. Sorry if my head's in the way. Try to back it up a little bit. I'm gonna put some paint on my brush. Try to push that dark up a little bit. All right, this look. Sorry about my head. I can't keep it out of the way. All right, now I need to paint another row of dark underneath that, and then a row of light. What time is it? I'm going to try to get the dark in, I'm not going to worry about the light, and maybe I'll put the light in tomorrow if I've got time. Let's give it a shot. All right. I need a little more paint though, because all the paint by mixing that color. So let me get a little bit more of that. Come on. Boy, I gotta do something about that. Paint color does not want to come out of my... There we go. I gotta roll this up a little bit. It's being a little pain in the butt. Same thing as before. Little raw umber and a little black. All right. And I'm even going to, so there's my paint. I'm going to put a little bit of this in there, just to lighten it up just a hair, because it is slightly lighter. Alright. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Let's see how that works out. Where I'm just going to use this easel here. Alright, so I'm just going to, I don't have to be too careful with this, because it's going to be a blended piece. It's not going to need to look so straight. A little more oil. That seems to be working okay with the easel the way it is. It's like paint, it's like drawing on the bottom of a piece of paper, you know. It gets more difficult as the lower you get. Try to paint behind the rocks a little bit. Alright, now we blend. Same thing as before, except I might use a larger blending brush. This is a 3mm angled brush. Let's just take that and any place that I'm having trouble, or that I'm like this looks light over here, just add a little more. The question is, do I want to paint that light section or do I have time for it? I'm going to give it a shot. Let me get some more paint here. Some more white. I'm going to put it down here. So I think that's what we're talking about. It's down. Let me look at the color again. Yeah. We're talking this color here. Touch more red to it. Yeah. A little bit light, so let's blend that out a little bit more. more red. And that looks like a good color to me. Let's try to give that a go. All right, put down. Now I've got to be straight on the other side, so this is going to go on the bottom. Yeah. It's funny. This line seems. I don't know what I'm looking at. I feel like if I'm looking here, that color goes all the way across there. And I don't know why, but I paint it like I see it. A little more oil. Yeah, I think that's right. I'm really being sloppy. I'm trying to rush. And I'm being sloppy. I can fix it though, so I'm not worried. Not too worried about it. It's nice not to have to fix things, you know? And thanks for joining. I see, well, I thought I had someone online, and then they were gone. Just like that. Just like that. I'll tell you this right now, I will never do another train painting. train, rails. No, sir. This is hard. All right. So I'm just trying to blend a little bit. I might switch brushes here and just kind of do what I did earlier. Kind of do it for that section. Let me clean up some of that. There was a couple spots there. I was like, ooh, shouldn't have done that. Let me see if I can clean up some of the spots on the top. Let's see. Maybe. Looks pretty good otherwise. Let's back up and take a look. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let me just make sure that bottom of what I just painted. See, because I've got to paint this next rail here, and if I've got a lip on this paint right here, I've got to make sure that that's blended out a little bit. If there's a lip on it, it won't paint so nice. So you just kind of smooth it out a little bit. It's okay if I make some smudges down here. I gotta paint that over. That's my next rail. Just dab. Alright, change my mind, I don't like the dab. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can come back, mess with it some more. I just needed to get it to a certain point. All right, what do you think? Diablo girl, I have a steadier hand than you. Yeah, I probably, maybe I do, I don't know. Some days I'm all over the place, you know, and some days I can do okay. I got paint in my hands, so let's not get that on my face as I wipe my face. So I better be careful what I touch. Not on my pants. All right, we're good. So I think we're doing all right. Little by little. So I'll have a little bit more work to do on that rail. I'm okay with it, and I've got some pieces to do over here. This little section here that I've got to paint in there, but I'll do that maybe over the weekend. And I'll just keep moving down. I've got 2 more rails to go, and then guess what? I'm moving on away from rails. I'm going to start doing the rest of this. So I'll probably start. I kind of want to work top to bottom, but we'll see. So we'll see what I do. I'm really excited to get to this all this rust here. That's going to be fun. I like rust for some reason. Anyways. Yeah, everybody's got anxiety. I got anxiety too, but I don't know. I guess my hands just don't shake too much. They're pretty steady. Maybe it's just not as bad as I think it is. That's it. That's all I'm doing today. I got to get back to work. I hope you have a great day. Just want to say that I'll do a little dedication. A friend of mine lost his mom this week, and the funeral's tomorrow. So let's have a little thought for some friends and family who we've lost along the way. And thank you for the memories, Joan. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.